Jason, Scott, what's up, guys? Y'all let me know y'all can hear me. Yeah, mine's not either. Mine's not hardly ever happy with me. What's up, Tyrus? Alright, we'll give it another minute or two. To let everybody get in. We'll get started. Scott, probably tonight. I just haven't had a chance to get the props done. I've gotten 5 or 6 of them done. But 2 of the props that I think I'm going to be involved with, some of the offshore books don't have lines for them yet. William Hill does, but I want to wait until all of the offshore books have their lines as well. That way I can somewhat compare them. There'll be an email sent out when it's as soon as it's posted. tell you what, while everybody, Scott, do me a favor. Run this chat for a second. Let everybody know about the 50 likes and such. Oh, wow. Good Lord. He screwed you on the juice. But it won, so I mean. I'm going to go. My throat is killing me, so I've been drinking coffee as hot as I can get it. What's up, Keith? So, Scott, run this chat for a minute. I'm going to go refill this cup. And by the time I get back, we'll go ahead and get started. That way we'll have enough people in here. But let's go ahead and get that like count up, premium play for 50 likes, and I'll be right back. All right, people, so I'm back. All right, let's see what I missed. Sit down. Why is Sac State favored by so much versus Portland? Because of their defense. I was seeing -3 last time I looked. What line are you seeing? Xavier, congratulations on the newborn. Here, get down. I really hope that you're not chasing a winning bet because of that. Because that is not the way to do it. Belmont Murray State should be a good game. I think as far as games that are intriguing just to watch, I think that's probably the best one on the card tonight besides Michigan State, Indiana. Which I'm going to be honest with you. Michigan State better be careful tonight. Indiana's a team that we've made some good money on this year, which we've made money on Michigan State too. And do I think Michigan State's better than Indiana? Yes, but not by an extreme margin. And I'm telling you right now, Bloomington, that has always been and will always be one of the toughest places to play, not just in the Big Ten, but in the country. Man, it helps. You would be surprised because like when you drink, like I've been drinking water like crazy. It's like water almost because of whatever medicine I'm taking. It's almost like water just dries my throat out. And I guess it's probably because of the dry, cold air too. It just hot coffee's been soothing it to the point where I can talk. I can't even taste it. So it's like usually I have cream and sugar in there. I don't even have that. It's just black coffee. What's up, Eric? So, I can't really make the announcement yet, which sucks. Well, it's -5 then just because of money. It's not -5 because of the odds makers. That just means a bunch of money's coming in. So I've got I guess somewhat of an announcement. I can't make the official announcement until I get the okay to do so, but so everybody knows that I started a company late last year called, or late last year, early last year. It was like May or something. Called Bleacher Bum Media Group. And this company was going to be more so on the lines of podcasting, but doing some video production as well, all sports-based, obviously. A gentleman that I've met at the last couple of winter meetings. I met with him again this year. He's from Toronto. He's a filmmaker, big baseball guy. Works with the Blue Jays organization. He's actually done done some screenwriting, and now he has a script that is somewhat under review by a filmmaker in Toronto that hopefully will get picked up and start, gaining some ground as far as getting grants and stuff like that. We'll see what happens. I've put my name on it. I've allowed the Bleacher Bum Media name to be on it. I've thrown some money into the investment of the project itself. It will be a baseball movie, not necessarily movie, almost like a docu-series type thing. So like a 4-part movie. So that's one announcement. We'll see what happens there. But signed a deal for 2 more podcasts. Both of them geared around sports betting. One of them is going to be called, I can't really say the name yet, but it's going to be derived around daily underdogs. So each day that I find an underdog that I love, or when there's multiple underdogs that I love, I am going to be doing a quick podcast, probably 5 to 15 minutes total, where I do a game breakdown and I give out a prediction for an underdog. And it won't be every day. Obviously, if it's just one that I have, then that goes to the paying clients. But when there's multiples, I am going to take one and give it out for free, but it will only be on the podcast. So it'll have a full game breakdown, my reasons why, so on and so forth. And I may do one every day. I may do one twice a week. It just depends on, obviously we can't predict who's going to be an underdog months in advance and, what the lines are going to be and stuff. And then there's also going to be a full-blown sports betting podcast where twice a week I go in and take the marquee matchups of the week and do a full game breakdown on them, give my opinion, and being that some of these games we'll be doing a breakdown on before official lines are out, so we can't really give a prediction, I'll still give my thoughts on the game itself, what I like, what I don't like, who holds an edge, where and why. So that way when the lines do come out, you can take my thought process throughout everything and let that help you make your decision as to whether or not you have a play on the game and what you play and what you risk. And that'll be early in the week to discuss what goes on from Monday to Thursday essentially. And then we'll have one that is for Friday through Sunday, doing it twice a week. Those podcasts will be closer to an hour, obviously, because we'll have multiple games to break down. But both of those will be announced. All paperwork has been signed. So I just need to get the okay for the names, so on and so forth. And hopefully we'll start recording those next week. But what that's going to do is on days where you don't see me do a free play video or a live show or something like that, you don't have to miss out on something. Pop on over to iTunes, to Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Anchor FM, radio.com, any of that, and you will be able to get free information every day. And that'll also be something that you can probably listen to at work if they've got social media blocked or you can't get on YouTube or Twitter or something like that. So I'm trying to do it to where I can get information out and appease everyone. And then just grow the fan base. And then obviously I want Outfielders Anonymous to be the biggest and best baseball podcast in the world. I have reached out, gotten reply from a former player, someone who I think should be a Hall of Famer. And I'm hoping that if everything works out, we'll get to interview this person. This will most certainly put Outfielders Anonymous on the map. But we'll just have to see what happens. I'm not going to name any names until it's official. But anyway, everybody knows the rules. 50 likes gets a free premium play. Yesterday, the free premium play was the McNeese Cowboys. That actually was one of two of my top plays. It was an easy winner. We give those out once we hit 50 likes. We're at 17 likes right now. There's 35 people in here, so let's get that up. And now let's talk about some basketball. Obviously, there's no NHL tonight. Went on a 3-0 NHL sweep last night. I did the numbers. That puts us officially at 75.12% for the season. NHL top plays are still sitting at 87% for the year. There's nobody in this industry even in the same zip code we are in the NHL. Kind of like how baseball always pans out. But we're going to get a few day break from the NHL so they can go do their all-star action. We may have some fun stuff for the all-star weekend in St. Louis. We'll just have to see. The NBA is kind of Not really in love with the NBA tonight. I do have one game that I kind of like. I mean, obviously, I like the Lakers tonight. I like them even more with Kyrie on the floor because I do think that I don't like. Here's why I say this: a lot of cappers, experts, analysts, whatever you want to call people, they love to use the term revenge, proven points, all this stuff. Listen, when you're paying guys tens of millions of dollars a year, a lot of that goes out the window more than it hangs around. It's different for certain situations where that you might have a feud or somebody's going for a record or battling for an MVP or battling for playoff positioning. That I get. But at this point in the season, it just really doesn't matter. You've got two teams that are essentially headed in different directions, the Lakers and the Nets. The Nets aren't terrible. I think the Nets are a very talented team. I think the Nets without Kyrie Irving are a playoff-bound team. With Kyrie, you're certainly not taking talent away. What I think that you're doing is downplaying the rest of the young talent that you have because he's the biggest ball hog outside of James Harden. And he's just not that great. I'm sorry. Kyrie is not what everybody makes him out to be. I think the best that we saw out of Kyrie was in Cleveland, and that's because LeBron makes the people around him better, just like Jordan made the people around him better. He did some good things in Boston, and I think ultimately he could have stayed with Boston and won championships, but his attitude and how he felt like the city and the team owed him something when it was the other way around, I think Boston was happy to get rid of him. And he's made comments about how he made LeBron better when he was with Cleveland. And if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have had a chance to come back and beat the Warriors. I'm sorry. I'll give it to Kyrie that in one of those finals wins, it was the Kyrie show. But look at how many assists LeBron had. Look at how LeBron pieced everything together for people to be successful when he wasn't doing that great. So again, sure, you had a great game, but had LeBron not been there, you probably wouldn't have even been in position to do it. It would have been a runaway by Golden State. I just don't think Kyrie's as talented as people give him credit for. Now, in saying that, we can't deny the fact that he's a good ball player, and I think that he's going to come out at home and try to show LeBron what's up. But I think LeBron knows that, and when that happens, that just makes LeBron want to say, okay, little man, you want to show me up? Do it. And then that makes LeBron play even harder. He's even more difficult to beat. People talk about how the scheduling is played out and the rest factor, the Lakers playing the Knicks. I don't know how much energy they really put into that. The Lakers obviously should be the favorite. The numbers really don't line up for me personally to play this as a big premium play. I still think, even when you take scheduling and everything else into consideration, that the accurate line is Lakers by 6.5. The Lakers right now are -5. God, I wish we could have gotten it lower. I would have probably laid a pretty steep money line on the Lakers. I don't know that I would lay 5 with them for anything other than fun money. But I think that one thing we need to look at is, even though you take into the fact that Brooklyn might come in more rested, Kyrie comes in with this chip to show something. But when somebody wants to do that to a player like LeBron, just like they used to do to Jordan or Iverson or Kobe or Shaq, that just makes that person go, okay, you've got something to show. Well, then I've now got something to show too. And we always saw who the superior person was. In no way is Kyrie better than LeBron at anything. Ball handling, maybe. But again, I don't consider ball handling in the NBA to be anything. Because they all walk, they all carry, they're all... If it used to be called like college used to call it, then none of these players would be able to play a full game I mean, games would be taking 6-7 hours because you'd be calling, a carry or traveling, hell, double dribbling. So there's my thoughts. I think that the competition tonight between Mr. Irving and LeBron is the most intriguing aspect of that game. Is it just me, or does Will Kane just seem like a complete tool? It's people like that get these jobs, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, who are you to get this job? There's no way you're an expert at anything in the sports world. I think Max Kellerman knows more than you, and he's a moron. Yeah, that's what we used to call it too, Danny. But that's my thoughts on that game, because I figured somebody would bring that game up. I think the Dallas line's pretty accurate. Might be a half point high. If you have not done so, if you would like a free premium play that I have given out already today, you're welcome to go back and watch my free play video that I did while I was driving down the road. Did a recap of yesterday, which somebody asked me up in the chat to do one. So I will, but I'm not giving out that free play. That's why I did that video. So you have to go back and watch that. But I did give out a college basketball play. I guess the recap really don't matter. Most people aren't watching the videos for a recap anyway. So yesterday, college basketball. Premium plays Louisville minus 13. Louisville really struggled in the early going, but I think what people are overlooking is the fact that Georgia Tech played very well. Kudos to Georgia Tech. Louisville got the lead as high as 12 in the late minutes of the game. A couple of dumb fouls and two really costly turnovers that turned into three-pointers for Georgia Tech got them right back into it. Then at that point, I think Louisville was just kind of hanging on for dear life because they didn't want to give up this game, and they knew that they very well could. So we dropped that. Davidson on the money line minus 135. You could have taken him on the spread. I got a lot of flack for that. Probably 24 emails for people saying that Davidson isn't the Davidson of the past. St. Louis is tournament bound. Davidson shouldn't be favored. I don't know what I'm doing. So on and so forth. Well, we see what happened there. So Davidson took care of business. The Furman Paladins minus 16.5 took care of business. Temple plus 2.5. I think Temple played the better game. I think that they made some Stupid fouls that they didn't have to make late. They were making the fouls too early, I should say. Plenty of time left for them to start making fouls like that. Vermont, I don't know what to say about them. I haven't watched it yet, but it looked pretty pathetic. So that right there hurt us, but then we got 2 top plays. Bradley -9.5, nice top play winner, and then the McNeese Cowboys that I gave out for free yesterday was a top play, easy winner there. So a very big profitable day in college basketball. NBA premium plays, we had 3 of them. The Detroit Pistons on the money line, -115. We played it when they were still a 1-point favorite. They ended up going into as a 2-point underdog before the game actually started. Either way, they controlled it from start to finish. It was a blowout by NBA standards. The Chicago Bulls, it was a first half blowout by them. We had them +1. Third quarter was rough. They let them right back in it, but then they took care of business. Ended up winning outright by 7. The very rare prop bet that I gave out on Zion was a big win. So 3-0 in the NBA. And then we had 3 premium plays in the NHL. Columbus in regulation, -$1.30 winner. Minnesota in regulation was $1.65. I didn't like that, but I loved the game, so I could not stay away from it. And then we had Minnesota on the puck line, -1.5, which was a nice winner. Minnesota, I don't think they're a playoff team. Colton is coming in and out. Like I woke up this morning, I still had one, but then it broke shortly after, and then it kind of came back. Right now, at this very moment, I don't think that I have one. I really don't know. We'll see. Baby girl's still sick, so that was more of my concern this morning. Why do people even bother talking crap about your picks when you were the one spending time looking into the games and play and paying you to do so? I don't know. The funny thing is they say something, and then, of course, when I win and make them eat their words, they have nothing to say then. It's like it's like these people that talk shit, they look at win-loss records and they look at what one team's been doing, but what they're not taking into consideration is who they're playing. They're saying, oh, well, they're getting ready to play someone that has a 9-8 record or a 7-5 record or something like that. That's what they're looking at. They're not looking at the actual numbers for that team, where they excel, where they struggle, and then how it matches up to what that team does. So even though you might have a team that's better on paper, in this particular matchup, this team is actually better. And the odds makers got it wrong. And so I'll take advantage of it. I'll exploit that opportunity. Just like last night, McNeese. McNeese should have been a 9-point favorite. They completely screwed up that line. So I took advantage of it. They screwed up the Bradley line. Bradley line should have been 16. Now, they only covered by a few points, but that's because Bradley made some stupid mistakes by letting them drive to the basket. And let's not take credit completely away from Illinois State. I mean, they didn't play a bad game. And that's a big rivalry. So I understand why, it was coming in lower. And once we got it down below double digits, I exploited it. And guys, I want to bring up something just for y'all to look at for all of you that bet online. So I got a good customer of mine that reached out to me late last night, and I happened to be awake because I was going over today's action. And let me read this email to you. Just so, I mean, because I've seen it before in the past. Hell, it's happened to me. Obviously, it's been taken care of after the fact, but this is just for you guys to always pay attention, especially if you're on my packages. So we do play a fairly high volume compared to the norm. I just want you guys to be aware of this. Look out for it. So a guy that's been betting with me for a long time, he gets in the live chat sometimes. I'm not going to say his name if he wants to tell you who he is. I don't know if he's in here right now or not, but he'll probably be at some point. But anyway, he sent me an email very late last night. It says, Chase, hope all's well. Can I get your insight on something? Hockey's somewhat new to me. Haven't been doing it other than with you. I have a question in relation to regulation time. We had Columbus tonight in regulation. I bet it just as you said, minus a half goal for regulation 60 minutes. Columbus won 4-3. It did not go into overtime. So as I played this bet, as you suggested, as it won as you said it would, with no going into overtime, then why is it counting it as a loss on my end? I just need a little tutoring as to what regulation time only might actually entail. Thanks. Nice call on both the top plays tonight. Yada, 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 yada. So what he was thinking about is that maybe there was something he didn't realize about regulation time, and maybe it actually was a loss. It was not. It was a win. So I responded back, said, his name, obviously. It should not be counting it as a loss. If it had gone into overtime, then yes, a loss it would be. The game ended in regulation with Columbus emerging victorious. So if your book is showing a loss, you need to address that with them. I am assuming that you are using an online book. If you are using something like Five Dimes or Bovada, they have a 1-800 customer service number that you can call. They can and will need to fix that for you. Or it could just be a glitch in the system. It's happened before, and you'll probably wake up tomorrow with it already fixed, showing it as a win. If not, you need to reach out to whomever you use. Do it before tomorrow night, before the 24-hour period, because it is certainly not correct. You won that game outright, as long as you bet it the way you said you did. Obviously, he emailed me back and said, yes, it was a glitch. It is fixed. Don't know what it was. But, guys, that just tells you, make sure that every day, before you go, when we place our wagers, it's fine. I mean, if you don't watch the games, hey, I actually promote not watching what you've got money on, because that way you don't get emotionally invested in anything. It's a business transaction. But the next day, before you go place any more wagers, make sure that you go over every wager that you had and make sure that your account is reflecting as it should. And if it's not, before you go place another wager, address it with them and make sure you have it fixed. Because as you can see, I mean, they caught it. They fixed it without him having to do anything. But if not, had he not caught it, then who knows what would have happened. And you get a couple of days away from the action, then you may completely overlook it. Give me one second, guys. I'm going to open this window. It's getting a little stuffy in here. I've been blasting the heat. Irie, I can't even believe you're asking me that question because you know good and well I'd never play that stuff like you. And there's not a such thing as a money line lock of the day. The closest thing you'll probably get to it, I mean, if you really, really want to talk about something that you can step out on, but in conference, just remember, anything can happen at any time. You can take Winthrop tonight on the money line. If it'll let you, you'll probably be laying well over 1,000. I certainly don't recommend doing so, but that's your money, brother. I haven't even gone over them, Colton, so again, that's why those leans, that's why I tell people, like I used to not even release my leans. Um, and it was because of stuff like that. Because I mean, if it doesn't make the cut, it doesn't make the cut. But then I had people complain about it. We want your leans. We want your leans. But it's like I tell people, I don't recommend you playing those leans because if I wanted you to play them, they would have made the cut. So I haven't even gone back and looked at any of them. I haven't looked at play-by-plays. I haven't looked at anything. As a professional, do you ever take a day off? No. Well, I can't say no. I took Christmas Eve off. Kind of. I went into the office for about an hour. We didn't have any plays that day. I just had to finish up I had to sign a few pieces of paper and sign a check and stuff like that. But other than that, no. I usually take the day after the All-Star break or the All-Star game in baseball. That's a day that I usually take off. Even though you'll have a few days where there's no baseball, I have to start getting ready for it to start back up. Plus, right around that time, right after the All-Star break, I'm starting to build depth charts and power rankings for college football and NFL. So I take 1 to 2 days a year off. Oh, yeah, we might. Um, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying we don't go on family vacations and stuff. We will, but I work. And I usually try to do that during the All-Star break. So that way I can take a day during that where I don't work at all. But for the most part, if we go on a family vacation, I mean, I may not do like a video or something like that. I try not to answer a ton of emails and let the office handle that as much as they can. But I mean, I still have to do my plays, and obviously I'm still wagering. So even on a vacation, I'm still working. It's their vacation. I'm just there. We got 51 people in here right now and only 32 likes. It's not going to cut it, dudes. 50 likes for a free premium. Anybody listen to episode 4 of Outfielders Anonymous yet? Oh, and I was going to tell everybody, we hadn't done it in a couple of weeks, so I figured we'd do it today. Today we're going to do the extra day promo. So buy a 3-day pass, get the 4th day for free. So if you buy today, you'll get through Sunday. Buy a 7-day pass, get the 8th day for free. And if you buy a 30-day pass, I'll give you 3 days for free. So you'll get 33 days versus just 30. That's today and today only. If you buy it tomorrow or after midnight, then no extra days will be given to you. There's no special package you have to buy. Just go in and buy the normal 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, and I'll handle getting you your extra days. But if you don't do it before midnight, then no go. We're starting to have some line movement. Yeah, I've been to Pensacola a few times. I haven't been to that ballpark down there. I've pretty much been everywhere in Florida. What's up, Jerry? What's up, Mark? Yeah, I envy people that can truly just say I'm going on vacation and be cut off from everything for a week. I can't remember any time since my kids have been born that I've done that. And I don't know any time that I ever will until I retire. But the good thing is while everybody else is working till they're 65, I won't. I fully intend to be 100% retired by the age of 50. I've been to Diamondbacks. I've gone to Orioles in Sarasota. I've gone to Lakeland for Detroit. I've been to Yankees, Red Sox, Cubs, Anaheim, Milwaukee, Toronto. I've been to a lot of them. Yeah, I'm going back out there again this year. I'll be seeing Mr. Jerry Valdez out there. Sure, we can. Yep, let me look. Let me see if there's an updated line. Rangers Royal Stadium was voted best experience by USA Today a couple of years ago. Oh, are you talking spring training? I was about to say, what? All right, let's see what we've got with this game. So at present time, Michigan State 3.5, which that's, I mean, truth be told, I mean, that's not far off. I mean, I most certainly understand that line. Again, we're talking about the Big Ten here. They are the most stacked conference in all of college basketball this year. I don't see that changing, to be honest with you. If you really want to go stat for stat, the line should be closer to 6. I've got 5.5 Michigan State. But here's the problem with this game. Number one, Michigan State is going into, in my opinion, the most hostile environment in the Big Ten. I've always thought that. Bloomington is just one of those places that has always been and will always be a very tough place to play and win. And it doesn't matter how good or bad Indiana is at that time. We've made a lot of money on Indiana this year. We've had a big game of the week on Indiana. Indiana's a very good second half team. One thing that I like about Indiana, and the reason they rank as high as they do in my system, and the reason that I think that one of the teams, well, Indiana and Purdue being two of the teams that in the Big Ten a lot of people were not giving as much credit as they should have, as well as not realizing with the amount of talent they do have how they could go out on any given night and beat anybody in the country. That's not me saying that I think that they are the best team in the country or that I think they're a top 10 team or anything like that. But Indiana's one of those teams that at home, I mean, hell, even on the road, they can give anybody a run for their money. But at home, in Bloomington, in Hoosierville, Indiana could be an unranked nobody with 0 conference wins, below 500 record in non-conference play, had a couple of upsets by complete scrub teams, and at home, they go out there and can beat a number 1 team on any given night. I have Indiana ranked 31st overall in the country in my system, which I think Ken Palm has them at like 43 or 44. I think ESPN's got them closer to 50. I just don't buy into any of that. Indiana's better than that. Now, Michigan State is a top 10 team in my system. We'll see what Michigan State does down the stretch. They're always the team that gets riddled by a couple of bad injuries. Their freshmen decide to make dumb mistakes. And then a team that was heavily favored to win it all, of course, doesn't get there. Sorry, I got a text. Is Michigan State the better team than Indiana? Yeah. Hands down, they are. I think the guard play of Indiana can give them some trouble. I do think that Indiana's a little bit faster. Talent-wise, Michigan State is a good ways above them. Here's what I like about Indiana in this spot. Now, again, don't take this as me saying play Indiana, but here's where Indiana gives top teams trouble. They come out in the first half. They play slow. Well, I shouldn't say play slow. They play whatever speed that other team wants to play. So if that team wants to go play 100 miles an hour, Indiana will do so. If they want to hold the ball and really slow the game down, Indiana will do so. And what Indiana does is they kind of derive a game plan of sorts, if you will. They go in with a game plan of what the scouting report is. But the scouting report can change from night to night. Is a team that is one of the best perimeter shooting teams in the country, can they go cold? Is a team that shoots 20% from the three-point line, are they going to get hot and shoot 70%? I mean, that's just stuff in basketball you can't ever prepare for. So you have to go in with the basic, stat sheet. But what Indiana does better than just about any team in the country other than Kansas, in my opinion, is they go through and they play whatever style of ball their opponent wants to play the first half. And they try to find significant edges, if you will, whether it's, okay, are they playing soft and underneath? Are they really, can we double team them in the paint and have success? Are they cold from the three-point line where we can really start forcing them outside? And then in the second half, they execute that. Doesn't mean they'll always win, because sometimes they're just playing teams that are flat out better. Tonight, they are playing a team that's better. But I'm telling you right now, this is what I think. I think that Michigan State can beat them up underneath. But I think that Indiana can set themselves up underneath to play faster. I think they can get offensive rebounds on that end better, just the way they set their middlemen up. So let's say that happens. If that's going to happen and they have the edge there, then they're going to start forcing Michigan State to go outside. Well, Michigan State can be very dangerous from outside just like anybody. I think that Michigan State is also going to push Indiana outside. And if this comes down to a three-point competition, then yes, Michigan State holds the edge with just about every player they're going to rotate in and out. There's one extra player that's going to get rotated for Indiana, so you do have that. You do have the home court. I think the line's accurate, because if you say that the line's 6 and you give 3 points, which is absolutely accurate for a Big Ten home game, and then you say, okay, it's 3 points, I get it. If I had a gun to my head right now and I had to go off of stats, I'd have to play Michigan State. I would. If I had to go with my gut, I'd take a chance on Indiana on the money line. I wouldn't take the points. I'd take the money line. But because every single spot that I come to where I say, okay, here's a definitive sign of what can happen, I end up right back at 0 on both sides. So no play for me, honestly. But that's my thoughts. Michigan State's the better team, but Michigan State is most certainly on upset alert tonight. If they don't come in and play their A game for 40 minutes, they get beat. If they play their A game for 40 minutes and they're actually, they have the hot hand tonight, which Michigan State's known to get, they can go into Bloomington and win by 20. But they better come ready to play tonight or they lose. And they lose like it's an embarrassing loss. Oregon USC, I mean, I like Oregon. Oregon should win this game by 15. I mean, my line was minus 11.5 to start. But the Pac-12 is all playing down right now. USC is probably the best team that everybody's overlooking. Oregon's the best team in the Pac-12. I've said that since day one of the season. USC is a team that is being overlooked by almost everybody, that is definitely top 3 in talent, in my opinion. They cannot keep up with the speed of Oregon. No one can in the Pac-12. But every single team in the Pac-12 right now is playing well below their ability. So Pac-12 games right now are very, very, very sketchy, to say the least. I've been laying off of Pac-12 the past week until I can see some of these teams start to turn it around. Like right now, Oregon State, UCLA. Oregon State's probably going to blow this team out of the water, but they shouldn't. Talent for talent. Truth be told, this is a 4-point game. But because of the way both teams are playing, plus you've got home court, everything else, Oregon State will probably blow them out of the water, which should not be. Hold on 1 second. Let me let my dog out of this room. Come on. Brennan, I actually broke down that game earlier, like at the very beginning of the show. I talked about that was probably the first game I truly talked about, was my thoughts on the Lakers and the and Brooklyn tonight. Be careful with that, Skip. I think that it should have been an under game too, but I think both of these teams are going to be forced to play from the 3-point line. So if they get hot and they start going tit for tat, it's going to soar over. Who is Rude Boy? Ari, I have no idea who you're asking that to. Who's Rude Boy? Yeah, I just did not. And we actually just finished it up a minute or so ago. I'm not playing the game, but I did a full breakdown of the way I think the game's going to play out just a minute ago. I may have Murray State. I may have that game. Not saying Murray State, but I may have a play on that game on the card tonight. All right, let's do a free play. And here's one that, again, it's tough taking road. It's tough taking road teams in conference right now, especially within Missouri Valley, Big Ten, things like that. But here's a road team that I most certainly like, and I do think that it's a good money line play. A little bit steeper than I like to lay money line in college basketball, but I think there's value in the money line today, and I'll tell you why. Um, let's see. Let me look at the current line. Okay, so not much line movement there, but we do have a little bit. So the game is Wisconsin Green Bay at Cleveland State. Line opened up at Wisconsin Green Bay laying 2 and immediately jumped to 2.5 within minutes of the line coming out last night. Now it's Wisconsin Green Bay laying 3, which is fairly accurate. Truth be told, again, usually in these smaller conferences, a lot of people probably wouldn't want to give a full 3 points for home court advantage. The Missouri Valley is a conference that I've been really following heavy for the past 5 years. Big Ten, ACC, obviously all the major power conferences I follow very, very close. But outside of those, Missouri Valley and SoCon have been my biggest. Last year, we made more money in the Missouri Valley, just as far as pure profit dollars, than we did any conference last year, believe it or not. So that's, obviously that's a big deal. So, but in conference right now, that's one of the more, I don't want to say evenly matched conferences, but I'm telling you right now, home teams are holding an advantage. Road teams are having a hard time winning. The crowds are getting into it. And the teams now know that just because they're in the Mo Valley or just because they're in the Mountain West or the SoCon or something like that, the conferences are gaining enough respect now where they have just as good of a chance as any other smaller tier conference like the Big East. Like the Big East, even though it's not the ACC or the Big Ten, the Big East was one of your mid-major conferences that always got the benefit of the doubt because of teams like UConn and Villanova and Georgetown and people like that. So for years, that was the mid-major that got the credit. Everything else fell by the wayside. SoCon, Mo Valley, those teams right now, they have just as much of, I guess you could say, swagger within the NCAA as the Big East does. If they're playing good, they have just as good of a shot to get a tournament bid as a Georgetown or a Creighton or a Villanova or something like that. One thing that I'll say about this game is Cleveland State most definitely should get 3 points for home court. Right now, Wisconsin Green Bay is laying 3. So right now, I came in Wisconsin Green Bay minus 5.5. That's my line. So you take 3 away from it. Wisconsin Green Bay minus 2.5 was, spot on accurate. So there was not. So when I first came to this game last night, I put a star beside it. And I'm like, I just don't believe that in the Mo Valley, one of the odds makers has done and come up with the exact same thing that I have, which is Wisconsin Green Bay minus 2.5, taking into account the home away situation, everything. So I put a star beside it. I finished out doing my prelims, and then I came back to it. It was the first game that I came back to. And I started breaking down how many people are being rotated in and out and where they struggle and where they excel. Wisconsin Green Bay is going to rotate 9 guys right now. They were only rotating 7 full-time. They brought 2 more people into the mix, sophomores, one coming off of a hamstring injury during practice this year. And even though those other 2 guys aren't getting a lot of minutes, they're averaging 3 to 4 minutes a game. It doesn't matter. They have the ability to play those 3 to 4 minutes at one time to get rest for 2 of your big guys underneath. So 9 players versus 6 full-time guys and a 7th one that plays about 3 to 4 minutes a game. So you undoubtedly have the advantage there for Wisconsin Green Bay. You look at your three-point shooting. Wisconsin Green Bay holds a slight edge. That is actually where Cleveland State at home, not on the road, but at home, excels just a little bit, and it's from behind the arc. But if you look at the numbers of the teams that they've gone out there and done very well with perimeter shooting against at home, it's been the lowest tier perimeter defense, not only in conference but out of conference. So you put an asterisk by that. Yeah, you've been playing great from beyond the arc at home, but you're playing against teams that have zero presence when it comes to perimeter defense. Well, guess who does have perimeter defense? Wisconsin Green Bay does. They are known to go into other places in conference and force teams that have a couple of big, powerful guys underneath to say, we're going to stifle these guys. We're going to force you to go outside that perimeter. And then when you do, we're going to play a 3-2 zone, and you're going to get the shot. But we're going to be in your face for every single one of those shots. You're not just going to go out there and get wide open threes, because if they were to allow that, then Wisconsin Green Bay wouldn't be the favorite here. They are going to make them shoot threes, but they're going to be in their face. So I don't think Cleveland State's going to have near the success that they've had against other teams in conference. So that's number one. Then you go to the other end of the floor, and in the beginning, I think Cleveland State's going to rock them a little bit. They're going to go underneath. They're going to go out there. They're going to make it tough for them. So they're going to force Green Bay to shoot outside as well. Green Bay, same thing. On the road, they struggle outside the perimeter just, obviously more than they do at home. But what's going to happen is they're going to run that pace up and down and force them to go outside. They're going to force more people to touch the ball, which is going to allow them to wear them out a little bit quicker. I think we see a close first half. Second half, I think you're going to see some good fast breaks from Green Bay. I think you're going to see them be able to start to move the ball inside, which is going to make at least 3 people down each offensive turn down the court. 3 people are going to touch the ball. They're going to burn at least an additional 4 to 6 seconds off of each offensive possession. That's another advantage for them. And they're going to, when they start driving in, they're going to start drawing fouls. So let's say we get 8 minutes to go in the game. It's tied up. Wisconsin Green Bay is going to drive in every time. They're going to get into a double bonus, and just off of fouls, they have the advantage. Then once you get into the last 2-3 minutes of the game, I don't think Cleveland State's going to have anything left. So you're already going to see a team that's up by 6, maybe 8 points, made a couple of easy threes when they've burned a bunch of time, and now you've got a team that's completely gassed. They're just going to run them ragged. They're going to burn time, they're going to drive in, and they're either going to get easy buckets or they're going to go to the line. Then they're going to allow Green Bay to move outside and shoot the open 3. Who cares? Because what's going to happen is they're going to miss it more than likely because they're not going to have anything left in the tank. But even if they make it, that's fine because they're going to come right back, burn time. They're not going to allow that clock to stop. No fouls. Let them shoot it. If they miss it, we'll get the rebound. If they make it, okay, we're going to drive right in, we're going to draw the foul, or we're going to get the bucket, and we're going to retrieve 2 of those 3 points you just made. And you're probably not going to be shooting any more than about 35% from the perimeter anyway. I see Wisconsin Green Bay winning by 5+ points. The problem with this is, again, the difficulty winning in conference on the road at this minute, because we have to go out there and take into consideration that even though I don't think it'll happen, if Wisconsin Green Bay forces Cleveland State to shoot outside all game, who's to say that Cleveland State doesn't get hot at the right time? And if they do, and Wisconsin Green Bay is having to come back from a deficit, I still think they'll do so. But laying 3 to 4 points isn't what I want to do on the road, because that's when teams start getting smart with their fouls. I would rather play a money line. Now, here's the thing. This money line right here is more than I like to lay. I see William Hill's got it at 135. 5 Dimes has got it at $1.40, so most of you are probably going to get it at $1.40. Most of the time, I would say $1.40 is too high for college basketball to play the money line. But tonight, being that it is a road team in conference, the way everything has gone, and knowing that Cleveland State's going to be forced to shoot outside, which means if they get hot, they're going to generate points and generate them fast, I would rather just have Wisconsin have to win versus winning by multiple possessions, which I think that's what it's going to be come game time. So minus 140 Wisconsin Green Bay on the money line. Again, I've said it 1,000 times when I don't play money lines in college basketball like I will in baseball or hockey, where 140 is pretty valuable. It's usually not in basketball, but when you talk about being able to just outright win with the better team versus having to win by multiple possessions on the road in a very tight and very competitive conference, that's where the money line, even if it's a little steep, holds a hell of a lot more value than playing in the spread. So there you go. Wisconsin Green Bay minus $1.40. I love it. Premium play. Let's see. Yeah, Skip, your book is crazy high right now. Who are you betting with? Yeah, minus 155 is insane. That's what I think it'll probably be at like the start of the game. Oh, yeah, I can't really do much about that. Premium and top plays, we went 10-3 last night. I did not, Walter, but I haven't checked my email in a while. I've got Austin Pace circled. That doesn't mean I'm going to play him, but I circled the game. Tell you what's hard to find from Austin Pay is practice reports. And that I don't like. No problem, Scott. All right, guys. we're about an hour and a half in. I've still got a little bit of work to do to get tonight's card out. So, a couple of free plays I gave out. I gave out my official free play there, obviously. I gave a game breakdown on Michigan State, Indiana, just my thoughts about the game itself, my thoughts about the Lakers and Nets game. There was no official free play there per se, but I did give my thoughts on the game itself. So make sure that if you're just now tuning in, you are welcome to go back and listen to those. If you want an additional free play, I did a free play video earlier in the day, another college basketball play. It is up on YouTube just as a normal free play video. If you are wanting to get on some premium and top plays, today is the day to do it because you get an additional upgrade for free. So today and today only, if you buy a 3-day pass for $50, you get the 4th day for free. If you buy a 7-day pass for $100, you get the 8th day for free. And if you buy a 30-day pass for $299, which is the cheapest in the business, you can get 3 additional days absolutely free. If you purchase after midnight, you will not get any additional days. It has to be done before midnight. So make sure you jump on that at chasewins.com. I will try to be back tomorrow. I don't know about a live show because I'm hoping to be making the podcast announcements tomorrow. But at the very least, I'll at least do a free play. So make sure you jump on a package. I'm going to finish out these plays, get the card posted. Anybody that's already sent me an email or something today, I will get back to any and all questions after the games are posted for the day. Great day yesterday, 10-3 overall, 2-0 in top plays. So we're going to carry that over into Thursday and get geared up for a big, big, big weekend of profit. Appreciate everyone tuning in. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, and I will get back to it as quickly as possible. Hope to see you on a package soon, and hopefully we'll see you back tomorrow. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by and hanging with me for a little while.